It was a showdown between the two best teams in the Eastern Conference on Saturday night, but it wasn't meant to be for the Union down in South Florida. We go over the club's 2-1 loss to Inter Miami and see how they can turn the page back at home this weekend against another Florida club. All that and more as Union Insider starts right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. I'm Marisa and I'm here with two of my favorite guys in the whole wide world, and I really mean it, guys. Sebastian Letou, Sheanon Williams. Well, the Union came into Saturday's match back in the top spot in the Eastern Conference, 2 points ahead of their opponent, Inter Miami. It was a battle between the beasts of the East so far in MLS, and it provided to be a battle of heavyweights down in South Florida. But the boys in blue, they came up just short against the reigning Supporters Shield winners. Here are the highlights from Saturday's match at Chase Stadium. Well, both teams had decent chances in the game's first 20 minutes, but it was the pressure by Inter Miami that would lead to the opening goal of the night. The ball would find Jordi Alba on the left flank going towards net. He sends in a cross to Ben Kermoski, who unselfishly one-times a pass to wide open Robert Taylor, and Taylor buries it home to give Inter Miami the 1-0 lead in the 23rd minute, and it would stay that way into the half. 55th minute now, and here comes the GOAT. Lionel Messi comes on for Robert Taylor, and it would lead to an instant impact for Miami. Just minutes later, Luis Suarez plays a ball to Fafa Pico, who combines again with Suarez at the top of the 18, plays it over to Messi in the box, and you know how this ends. Messi buries it home past a diving Andre Blake, and he gives the home team a 2-0 lead early in the second half. Just a perfect finish from Messi, who places it past Blake, and Miami is in firm control. But the Union weren't quite ready to go home without a fight. After a bevy of chances, the Union finally break through in the 80th minute after a cross into the box from Quinn Sullivan, finding Daniel Gazdag, who takes it one touch, fires it into the back of the net. Just like that, we've got a game on our hands at Chase Stadium with stoppage time soon to come. The Union have one final chance of the game's dying embers. Chris Donovan gets ahead on another Quinn Sullivan cross, but it goes just wide of net, and that would be the last play of the game as the Union fall to Inter Miami 2-1 after a hard-fought match. We said heading into this match, the Union playing Miami was almost a litmus test for how they are developing under Bradley Cardinal. How do you think they did overall?
Overall, I don't think it was a bad game from the Union. I think the first half, it was kind of hard for them to, in the final third, to find the pass who can create some chances. We didn't really see too many shots on goal in the first half. And then the second half, we saw a good reaction, a lot of chances, but we were able to put the ball in the back of the net. We saw, the Ty Baribo, header right into the keeper. I think a big chance from Chris Donovan when he came in as well to put another goal for the team. And at the end, we were able to get the goal from Gazdag, but a little bit too late, in those type of games, especially when the amount of chances we got in the second half, we should have done better and hopefully, maybe get a point out of this game.
And Sheanon, why do you think the Union weren't able to get off to a strong start in this one?
Yeah, I think it's just a difference in quality. Miami only needed 3 shots on goal to score 2. On the flip side of it, the Union had 9 and were only able to score 1. So that quality in the final third comes up massively, especially when you play a team like Miami. They're going to get 1 or 2 chances, and those chances go in for them. And for us, just missed too many opportunities. Like Seba talked about, thought the Union played a really good game and thought they came out prepared. Even down 2-0, they continued to fight and they battled back to get at least 1 goal, but then just weren't able to find the second.
We said this when the Union lost their first game of the season, that we often learn the most from those losses. What are the biggest takeaways for this team as they head into this weekend?
I think they can really see that they can compete and, maybe beat a team like Miami, who is supposed to be, the best team in the East or maybe in the league this season with Lionel Messi, Busquets, Alba, we all know those players, but they didn't look like they got underplayed. I think it's a positive for the team, but they need to even more believe in themselves, like say Sheanon, be more clinical in the final third, to put the chances away, because you're not going to always get as many chances. When you have it, could you, make it count? And it's something we are missing in that game.
And as soon as Messi came in, it was, a huge shift for Miami, as it is always. How did you think the Union did in terms of just playing alongside of him and trying to negate his success?
Yeah, obviously tough to say that they were successful after he comes on and scores 2 minutes into coming onto the field. I thought after that they settled down. again, I think that Miami's experience really helped them in this game. They not only know the right time to bring Messi in, they could sense that blood in the water and definitely brought him on to make an instant impact, and he did that. So I thought they did a good job of not only doing that, but also fouling the Union at times when they were getting things going, starting to build a rhythm. I think Miami had something like 22 fouls in the game. So anytime that the Union were trying to get something, they would just put an end to it. And that comes from experience and just so many games played between not only the manager, but also the players they had on the field.
Would you say it's fair to say that the Union handled Messi a little bit better in this game than they have in games past?
I mean, we saw maybe less anticipation of the player, playing against Messi, which, it's a lot of idol, for a lot of players. But they got already the experience under their belt to play against them. He just played, in the second half. He didn't play the entire game, so we maybe didn't see as much of Messi. Maybe he was not 100%, but he still scored, and he's still the player who is. And you cannot give him as many space as they did, when he scores a goal. So I don't think we were as scared to play against him that time. I think we were more prepared, and we could have, of course, do a better job on him. But he's always, great to watch, and he's one of the best players still in the league.
And Sheanon, overall, how did you think the Union's performance spoke to the fact that they're still contending for the top spot in the East?
Yeah, like you talked about earlier, it's a good litmus test for this team. They got to go up against what is going to be probably one of the better teams in MLS when it's all said and done at the end of the year. This is a team that they could potentially face in playoffs, so always good to go up against that kind of a test. And again, we talked about they had a good game, and just on another night, maybe they finish some of those opportunities. They can walk out with a draw, maybe even all 3 points. But again, when you play Messi and Inter Miami, it's got to be your best game, and it's got to be the perfect game where you get a bit of luck and on both sides of the ball. Maybe he misses a couple chances, maybe you score early on, but it just hasn't happened for them yet. So still looking for that first win against Inter Miami with Messi on the team, and hopefully it'll come later on this season.
And Seba, where do they go from here after this loss?
I mean, they just move on and learn and, be able to come back and now, play this weekend against Orlando, another good team to get a positive result and stay on top of the standing. It's Miami, pass in front of them after this one, but the Union is still second in the league. So it's not, putting themselves down. I think they can learn a lot from it, especially offensively, and, try to put now their chances in the back of the net, and hopefully they can do that against Orlando this weekend.
And Seba, we know the Union got on the board later in this one. We're going to break it down right now as we go over this week's Key Play of the Week presented by Subaru. Sheanon is over at the video monitor to break it all down for us. Shay?
Our Key Play of the Week is going to be Daniel Gazdag's goal in the second half that brought the score to 2-1. It starts out in the wide area, some good combination play between Donovan and Quinn Sullivan. Quinn Sullivan delivering an early ball, and then right place, right time. But it's the touch for me that does it for Daniel Gazdag. Always finds himself in good spots, and it's the touch out of his feet there and just the finish. Always right time, right place. This is somebody that's supposed to be a number 10, but is always in the box, and that's why he has 59 goals for this Union team. So great lifeline for this Union team. Had a couple chances after this, but again, his touch out just to finish it. Doesn't need to smash it too hard. Always, again, right place, right time for Daniel Gazdag.
Well, we've got more Union Insider for you in a bit, but first, here's your Union trivia question presented by United Concordia. Quinn Sullivan became the youngest player in Union history to appear in 100 MLS games. Who did he pass on Saturday? Find out the answer later in the show. Welcome back to Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. Despite the loss this past weekend, it's been about as good of a start as the Union could have hoped for. They're sitting at second place in the East with a 4-2-0 record and 12 points so far in 2025. Here's a look back at some of the moments that got them there and their mentality that will be sure to keep them going in the preview of the latest episode of The U.
It was a good start into the season. I think nobody really expected this. I think for us it's really important that everybody works together, everybody shows. I think you saw it in the first games, the mentality to win every challenge. To start a 3-game winning streak, I think was really important for us.
It's its way over to Wagner. He'll drive it across. Ty Baribo. Dangerous ball served in, and this one is turned home. Here's a giveaway. Oh no! The area, and Baribo turns it in.
Wagner joining the attack. Baribo! Gazdag! Unselfish for Baribo! He gets his hat trick. Wagner that back stick, and the header it goes down. A banger of a strike for Jovan Lukic's first MLS goal.
We've created a high bar, we've set a high standard, and not every day is going to go our way, and today was one of those days.
And that will do it. Finally, this one comes to an end. Full of controversy, VAR interventions, but in the end, back-to-back wins for BJ Callahan and Nashville FC, and a history-making day with their first ever victory away to Philadelphia.
Not every game is going to be as easy as we would like it, right? So we have to dig deep, and today we dug deep, and we just lost momentum at certain times, but it's up to us now to respond to this, yeah.
I mean, I drive every day, like with Ollie for now, because I still don't have a car. I have to buy a car, and I just come to the training. I say hi to everybody who I can see. I just want to finish this season like we started. If it's possible, I want to try to win every game, and I think everybody in the team wants that always. Yeah, you said, the same way like this, back to back. Yeah, I never scored that in my life because I'm number 6, like defensive midfielder, and they never score back to back goals. And I was like, talk to him and said like, no way. I mean, I'm happy with this. You know, I just want to keep playing good. I don't care about the goals. If the goals will come, it's like how I imagine I can score and feel that energy and atmosphere on the stadium that happens. So it was like a dream for me. For now, I just don't want to ruin this moment. I want to keep doing like this, me and the team, like all season.
Many Union players are away with their respective national teams, but it's an opportunity for guys to step up in what hopes to be a bounce-back game against an unbeaten squad coming into town. The whistle from Fierra's Hardo plays back over to Toy Shirts, and we're underway from Subaru Park.
One of the things the Union are known best for is their player development. From the academy to Union 2 to the first team, there are no shortage of success stories for the Union, and that includes Frankie Westfield, as he gets the spotlight in this edition of The Pathway presented by Allstate.
My name is Frankie Westfield, and this is my pathway. I first started when I was 3 or 4 years old at a local club, like 2 minutes away from my house. It was called PSC, or Philly Soccer Club. Once I was in 8th grade, it was either a decision to go to high school near my house or to continue with the Union, and I picked to continue with the Union, so I say around 8th grade is when I started to really think about continue my professional career. My parents played a big role in whether it was my commitment or whether it was me signing, but also Coach Martin LeBlanc. He helped me throughout the whole thing, whether it was with the coaches or even getting a contract with the Union. So preseason was fun, but I think Spain was different, but I liked it a lot. For me, it was just business, going out there competing every single day, and like I said, earning that spot. Coach kind of talked to me about it, kind of said that you're kind of our guy right now for our game against Orlando. So I feel like that day I was kind of just like ready to go.
Collision at the top of the D as Philly work into the penalty area, and Marisa turns it in. The assist from Frankie Westfield.
I forget who passed me up the ball, but it was kind of hard play to deal with. So I always love continuing my runs, overlapping runs, so I continue my run. And I try to cross it off my second touch, deflected, hit me off the chest. And it landed right to me. And I looked up, I saw Quinn and Ty in the box. Ty took his foot out and scored a great goal. So, I was maybe not in shock, but I was just really happy in that moment and very excited for the team. And for us going up 3 goals, 4-1 in that moment was a great feeling.
That's a top.
Our locker room vibes, our vibes off the field, whether it's in the gym, playing tech ball, whatever it is, just off the field vibes are growing as well. When I made my Subaru Park debut, it was electric. The whole stadium was buzzing. Like I said, I got a little taste of that in the Eastern Conference Final, but having the whole stadium, feeling that energy and feeling that vibe was just truly amazing. Can't wait for more games like that. I would say another goal for me is, I think, as of right now, is just to stay consistent, keep earning coaches' trust, keep getting those minutes and more assists, and definitely score my first goal and get my first dub.
We're coming up on a break for Union Insider, but when we return, we'll look ahead to this weekend as the Union look to complete a season sweep against Orlando City SC. We'll be right back after this. Time for this week's Union Update presented by Torque. Union fans looking for a refreshing drink on game day while also supporting two Union stars are in luck. The Kai Tai drink, named after Kai Wagner and Ty Baribo, is now available at Union Yards. Both the cocktail and mocktail versions of the drink are being sold, so make sure to get yours before the Union game on Saturday against Orlando City SC. Only mocktail versions for you on Saturday. You're on the radio call, all right?
Yes.
Keep it classy there. Welcome back to Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. I'm Marisa Pilla with Sebastian Latou and Sheanon Williams. And the Union are back at the friendly confines of Subaru Park this weekend, looking to get back in the win column against another team from Florida. So let's go over what they need to do to get 3 points in this week's Keys to the Game presented by Subaru. Seba, what is your key against Orlando?
So since we already played them this season and we won 4-2 in Orlando, I think it's going to be very important to keep having the help from the fullbacks from the Union. I think it's something we really put some difficulty into the Orlando defense because you had, in the first game, Kai Wagner and Frankie Westfield giving some assists, in the goals the Union score, and you really kind of help offensively to get more numbers into the box to finish those chances. And what he does as well, he has to make, the Orlando offense with very good defense as well, and they don't want to do that. So can we have them, running maybe 70 yards to go to their goal if they have a counter-attack because they need, to help defensively their own fullbacks when Westfield, Kai Wagner, or maybe somebody else, because we don't know yet if Kai Wagner is going to be, back for that game, playing, as a fullback. So it's going to be interesting to see who starts. If Kai Wagner cannot be here, it could be Westfield again on the left, Ariel on the right, like we saw in Miami. But we are going to need this help, I think, for the Union to score some goals against Orlando.
All right, and Sheanon, for you?
My key to the game is going to be to turn up the pressure. This is a team that we've faced before and had a lot of success winning the ball in the defensive third of Orlando and then creating chances off that. If they can look to do that again, I think that they'll be able to create even more chances. That'll also help those fullbacks that Seba wants to get forward join the attack when they're a little bit closer and winning the ball in Orlando City's defensive third.
The Union looked really great against Orlando in the season opener down in Florida. So what is the balance between when you play a team for the second time of relying on what worked but also not being too predictable?
I mean, now it's going to be at home. So I think, first game of the season, they really surprised a lot of people from Orlando, the way they have been playing and the way I think they were counter-pressing, especially high up the field, winning, quickly after they were losing the ball. Now I think Orlando know a little bit what to expect, but since we play at home, I think now we have kind of like the energy advantage with the fans. Can we, have our attack, more into the ball, and kind of we have to. It's one of the key for me. It's to shut down, the offense of Orlando. They have the best offense right now. They score 15 goals in the league. It's the best, in between the Eastern and the Western Conference. So they have a lot of quality players offensively. So can we not, lose the ball too easily as we saw in some game against Miami last weekend to have some counterattacks from them because they go fast and they can score goals.
It's time for our last break of the show, but when we return, the guys will give their final thoughts on the Union's matchup on Saturday against Orlando City SC. Union Insider is going to wrap up right after this. Here's the answer to this week's Union Trivia question presented by United Concordia. Quinn Sullivan passed Amobi Akugo for the youngest player in Union history to reach 100 MLS appearances on Saturday. Akugo reached 100 MLS appearances at 23 years, 3 months, and 15 days, and Sullivan got there at 21 years old and 2 days. It's our final segment here on Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross, and time for these guys to share their final thoughts of the show for this week's edition of Final Whistle presented by Allstate. Sheanon, your final thought.
My final thoughts are that the Union are in a good place right now, need to get back into the win column, but overall second place in the East, not somewhere where I thought a lot that we would be at this point in the season. So need to continue that. Understand that this is a marathon of a season and want to make sure that you're having little spurts where you're winning a couple games. Obviously not going to be able to win them all, but again, if we can stay in good form throughout the season, it'll put us in the best place once playoffs come around.
Yeah, and for me, I think, like Sheanon said, we are still second in the East, but it's can we have another good reaction after losing the game against Miami, being back at home and playing with teams that we know already. We played them almost a month and a half ago. We know what to expect, but it's a very good team. It's somebody who is just 2 points behind us. So last year, we all know Orlando beat us at Subaru Park. So can we react and have, another good win at home? And making sure we can put a little difference, in a point between us and Orlando, because I think Orlando should be, in the top of the standing at the end of the year as well.
Right, and we know that the Union have already lost one game prior to this Miami match, and they bounced back quickly. Can they do that again this weekend? I think is going to be very important. That's going to do it for this one. The Union are back at Subaru Park on Saturday as they host Orlando City SC. Seba will be alongside Dave Leno on the radio call on WWDB 860 AM and 97.5 HD2. That game can also be seen on MLS Season Pass. So for Seba and Sheanon, I'm Marisa, and we'll see you next week.